Hello scholars, welcome back. Today we are going to start with Geography chapter 7, which is a part of term 2 syllabus. In this we are going to study about natural vegetation and wildlife. You all have studied that our earth is having some major domains, which is lithosphere, which is land part, hydrosphere, which is water part, and atmosphere, which is the air around us. And the last domain of our earth is biosphere. It is a narrow zone in which the living organisms survive, because in this zone all the other three domains interact with each other, which supports in the survival of life. So today we are going to study about two parts of biosphere, that is flora and fauna. Flora refers to the plant species on the earth and fauna refers to the animal species on the earth. So in this chapter, natural vegetation and wildlife, we'll be discussing about different type of vegetation which is present on our earth and the type of animal species in context with that particular vegetation. So first of all, you should know what is natural vegetation. Natural vegetation basically refers to any sort of plant species that grows by itself without any human interference. It means whichever plants are growing by itself, which does not need any sort of support from human beings, those plant species are called as natural vegetation. Natural vegetation is basically found in the forest areas. There is a variety of natural vegetation present in our earth, and this difference or this variety is due to the different amount of sunlight and water received by a particular area. According to the amount of water and sunlight, different type of natural vegetation grows in different parts of the world. So today we are going to study about some of the types of vegetations which are grown in our world. In reference to this, we'll be studying about types of vegetation. Natural vegetation is broadly classified into three types: forest, grasslands and shrubs. Forest basically is having tall trees. Grassland is a vast stretch of land which is having tall and short grasses. And shrubs are basically the short plants which are grown in different areas. So now we are going to study about these three types of natural vegetation in detail. First of all, we'll be studying about forest. A forest is an area which is mostly covered with trees. Here trees basically refers to big trees, and forest generally grows in the areas which are having adequate supply of water. Or we can say that the areas which are having sufficient amount of rain results in the formation of forest. So now we are going to study about different types of forest that grows around the world. First type of forest is tropical evergreen forest. This type of forest generally grows along the areas which are near to the equator or near to the tropics. That is the reason why these forests are called as tropical. These forests are even called as tropical rainforest because these forests needs hot climate and sufficient rainfall almost throughout the year. As you can understand by the name evergreen, it means the trees in these forests remains green throughout the year and the trees does not shed their leaves. Due to continuous rainfall in these forests, the land of this forest always remains waterlogged. The trees in these forests have thick canopies which makes it very difficult to travel into these forests. In Brazil, evergreen forests are also called as selvas. As we have to discuss about vegetation and wildlife too, so the type of vegetation that grows in these forests are hardwood trees like ebony, mahogany, rosewood, etc. And the wildlife species are snakes, lizards, monkeys, crocodiles, etc. Now we are going to study about second type of forest, that is tropical deciduous forest. These type of forests are found in a large parts of India and in central part of America and in northern Australia. Deciduous forests are also known as monsoon forest. The trees in these forests shed their leaves in dry seasons. These forests are even affected by the change in the seasons or with the moisture and sun's heat. So we can say that the trees in these forests are affected by the action of heat and moisture. The trees which are found in deciduous forest are of great economic value because generally the trees of these forests are used for making variety of furniture. So as per the vegetation and wildlife, the vegetation in these forests includes hardwood trees like teak, neem, sal, etc. Wildlife includes langurs, monkeys, lions, tigers, etc. Now we are going to study about next type of forest, that is temperate evergreen forest. These type of forests are basically found in the southern parts of the countries, or as per the name we can understand, these forests are generally found in the temperate zones. The trees in these forests also remains green, and these forests are also dense forests. These forests have both hardwood and softwood trees. Even timber is also found in these type of forest, which is very valuable in every country. Vegetation in these forests includes oak, pine, walnut, camphor, etc. Wildlife includes sheep, cattle, pig, etc. Next we are going to study about temperate deciduous forest. These type of forests are generally found in New Zealand, China, Europe, etc. As per the name, these forests are generally found in temperate regions, so they require moderate temperature and rainfall. The trees in these forests shed their leaves in winter season and have thick trunks and broad leaves. Vegetation in these forests include maple, cedar, oak, poplar, etc. Wildlife includes wolves, foxes, squirrels, deers. Next we are going to study about Mediterranean vegetation. Mediterranean vegetation is generally found in the areas like Southwest USA, Southwest Africa, Australia, Italy, Spain, Greece, etc. These forests are also called as orchards of the world because these forests provide different variety of fruits. These forests generally grows in the regions of dry summers and wet winters. And the trees of these forests have thick trunks and the leaves are broad and are wax coated. Even the bark of trees in these forests are very thick. Vegetation in these forests includes citrus fruits like grapes, oranges, olives, pine, fir, etc. Wildlife includes golden eagle, spiny mouse, wild goat, etc. Next we are going to study about coniferous forest. These forests are found in the northern hemisphere between 50° north to 70° north latitude. These type of forests are found in Sweden, Canada, Norway and Russia. These forests are also called as taiga, which is a Russian word which means pure and untouched. The trees of these forests are straight and tall and have needle-like leaves which are pointed at the edges. The wood of these trees are generally used for making paper and matchsticks, etc. Vegetation in these forests include larch, fir, spruce, pine, etc. And wildlife includes mink, polar bear, silver fox, reindeer, muskrat, etc. In this manner, these are the different type of forests which are found around the world and the different type of vegetation and wildlife which is related to these type of forest. Next we are going to study about grasslands. Grassland basically is a vast stretch of land which is covered with thick and green grass. Grasslands are generally found in the areas which receives moderate rain. The places which are having that much amount of rain which is not suitable for growth of forest and which does not support the growth of shrubs. These type of lands consist of grasslands. Grasslands are also classified into two types, tropical grasslands and temperate grasslands. So now we are going to study about these type of grasslands in details. First of all, we are going to study about temperate grasslands. These type of grasslands generally grows in temperate zones in either hemispheres and are known by different names. These type of grasslands are known as prairies in North America, steppes in Central Asia and Russia, downs in Australia, pampas in South America, and velds in South Africa. These grasslands are even known as granaries of the world. The reason is because wheat and maize is basically grown in these grasslands. As these grasslands supports the growth of grains, that's why they are called as granaries of the world, and it helps in supporting many of the countries in feeding the people. These grassland does not have tall trees but have green, healthy and nutritious grass. That's why vegetation in these grasslands generally is grass only. Even these grasslands are also called as sea of grass. Wildlife in these grasslands include bison, wild buffaloes, antelopes, etc. Next we are going to study about tropical grasslands. Tropical grasslands generally grows in the areas of Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Kenya and Deccan Plateau in India. These grasslands are also known as savanna in Africa. These grasslands are suitable for dairy farming, and generally the growth of these grasslands require moderate to low rainfall. It means these grasslands can grow even with very less amount of rainfall. Vegetation in these grasslands include thick grasses along with scattered trees, and wildlife includes zebras, elephants, deer, leopards, etc. Now we are going to study about third type of natural vegetation, that is shrubs. Shrubs are basically the short and small plants that grows in areas which receives less rainfall. Or we can say that shrubs generally grows in the desert regions. Shrubs are also broadly classified into two types, desert vegetation and tundra vegetation. So now we are going to study about desert vegetation first. Desert vegetation generally grows in desert areas like Sahara Desert, Atacama Desert, Kalahari Desert and many more. These deserts are generally found in the western sides of the continents and are having very less rainfall, high temperature and high evaporation. These are some atmospheric conditions which does not support the growth of big trees in these areas. That's why it consists of short plants which are basically thorny or spiny. Shrubs in these desert areas are having strong roots, thorny spines and wax-coated leaves. Desert vegetation is generally known as xerophytes, which means that the plants in these areas, they adapt themselves to the hot and dry climate and they are able to survive in that. That is the reason that vegetation in these regions mostly consists of cacti, date palm, thorny bushes, etc. And the wildlife includes wild ass, hyenas, fox, lizards, snakes, etc. Next we are going to study about tundra vegetation. Tundra vegetation is mostly found in the polar regions in either hemispheres, from Tropic of Cancer to North Pole and from Tropic of Capricorn to South Pole. These regions are extremely cold throughout the year and receives very less sunlight. And as these areas are covered by snow throughout the year, it does not support the growth of trees or different type of grasses. Vegetation in these areas include mosses, lichens and small shrubs. Wildlife includes snow foxes, walruses, seal, polar bears, etc. So these were the different type of natural vegetation present on our earth in different areas. Now we are going to study about the effect of human activities on our environment. As we all know that humans completely depend on environment for their survival. Human beings depend on physical environment to fulfill their needs. And when they have to fulfill their needs, they alter the environment according to their own choices. So in this manner, human activities like pollution, deforestation, hunting, poaching, all these activities has affected our natural vegetation and wildlife as well. These activities of human beings has created an imbalance in our nature, which has resulted in degradation of land and soil as well. As the population is also growing day by day, so the result of overpopulation is decrease in plant and animal species. Continuous growing population has increased the demands in our country, which in turn has led to decrease in our natural resources as well. Along with the depletion in natural resources, human activities has created a threat to human beings itself. The human activities has resulted in changing climate, global warming, increased frequency of natural disasters, which are even a threat to human life. So to sum up, we can say that human beings have created a danger to themselves and to the environment. So this was all about the chapter. So before winding up the chapter, let's discuss about some of the important points related to the chapter. Biosphere is a narrow zone of the earth which is occupied by the living organisms. The plant kingdom on the earth is known as flora. The animal kingdom of the earth is known as fauna. An area of land covered with trees is termed as forest. Regions of the world covered with thick and green grass are termed as grasslands. Grasslands are also classified into two types, tropical and temperate grasslands. The woody plants smaller than trees are termed as shrubs, and shrubs are classified as desert vegetation and tundra vegetation. Human activities has resulted in a threat to human life along with the natural environment. So this was all about the chapter. With this, we are going to wind up today. Good day for now. Stay home, stay safe.